Good morning and good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, my name is Swarali Sarangapte and I'm going to be talking about the legal literacy in India. Today, I'm going to be talking about the fundamental rights, protection and empowerment of women, right to education, right to information, consumer rights, cybercrime, etc. But before that, do you know what an FIR is? It's the First Information Report. The First Information Report is a written document prepared by the police when they receive information about the commission of a cognizable offense. Now, what is a cognizable and a non cognizable offense? A cognizable offense is an offense in which a police officer has the authority to arrest without a warrant and to start an investigation with or without the permission of a court. And a non cognizable offense is when a police officer does not have the authority to arrest without a warrant and an investigation cannot be initiated without court order. Why do you think it's called as the First Information Report? It is called so because it is a report of the information that reaches the police first in point of time, and that is why it's called the First Information Report. You can approach the higher officers, such as the superintendent of police, deputy inspectors, etc., if the police officer refuses to register the FIR. Once the FIR is registered by the police will start the investigation. Who can lodge the FIR? An FIR can be lodged by anyone. It is a general complaint lodged with the police by the victim or someone on his or her behalf. Anyone can report either orally or written to the police. Even a telephonic message can be treated as an FIR. The police may not investigate a complaint when the case is not serious in nature or the police feels that there is not enough ground to investigate on. In such cases, though, the police must record the reason for not conducting the investigation. Once a person is arrested, there are some rules and regulations for the protection against arrest and detention. Number one is to be informed of his or her offense at the time of the arrest. Number two is to be present before a magistrate in 24 hours of the arrest. And three, boys under the age of 15 and women cannot be called by the police station only for questioning. What do you think is bail? Bail is a temporary release of a suspected criminal who is awaiting court trial. Did you know that no women can be arrested without a women police officer? No women shall be arrested after sunset and before sunrise, except for prior permission of the magistrate. An arrested woman should be kept separately from the men's lockup. Next, we'll see what the Indian Penal Code is. The IPC, or the Indian Penal Code, is the official penal code of the Republic of India. It covers all the laws relating to crime and punishment. All criminal offences, including crimes related to human body, property, conspiracy, secret plan to do some unlawful, tranquility, which is crimes against states or public peacefulness, etc., come under the IPC. Punishments such as death, imprisonment for life, imprisonment for a few years, just a fine, or imprisonment and fine are given to the people when they commit a crime. Now let's look at the structure of the judiciary. The Indian judiciary is an independent and impartial judiciary. The structure of the Indian judiciary system is Supreme Court, High Court, and then the subordinate courts. The Supreme Court is the highest court in India. It can transfer cases from one court to another court and any court to itself. It is the highest court to appeal from all courts. The Supreme Court is the highest appellate authority. High Court. High courts are the highest courts within a state. They hear appeals from the lower courts and they deal with the cases within the jurisdiction of their designated state. And the last is subordinate or district courts. In each district, there are various types of subordinate courts. Civil cases are dealt by the civil courts, such as disputes regarding property, contract, and divorce. And criminal cases are dealt by criminal courts, criminal cases such as theft, murder, etc. And last, revenue courts deal with the case of land revenue in the state. Moving on to the fundamental rights. Here we have the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Right to equality states that equal rights should be provided to everyone, irrespective of religion, gender, caste, race, or place of birth. The Constitution of India, for example, abolishes the titles such as Maharaja, Raj Bahadur, Rai Bahadur, Rai Sahib, etc. Let's take an example. A man is a millionaire and owns many acres of land in his village. He starts many factories in his village and provides employment opportunities to thousands of people. He himself takes the responsibility to develop the entire village. People start treating him as their leader. He became a leader of the village without winning any elections. He declared himself as the Maharaja of the village, and he gave a call to the people not to participate in the democratic elections. This is a violation of the fundamental right. Untouchability is also a punishable offense under the law. Right to freedom. Freedom of expression and freedom to conduct peaceful processions are our fundamental rights. It is our fundamental right to practice any profession or take any occupation, trade, or business. The right to freedom ensures 6 basic freedoms: freedom of speech and expression, peaceful assembly without any kind of arms, form associations or unions, move freely anywhere in the territory of India, reside in any part of the Indian territory, and practice any profession or undertake any occupation, trade, or business. The state can impose a reasonable restriction, though, when there are threats and challenges to the security of the country, public order, sovereignty, and integrity. Next is right against exploitation. It prohibits human trafficking, beggars, and other forms of forced labor. Did you know that the Constitution prohibits the employment of children under the age of 14 in the hazardous conditions? Next is right to freedom of religion. Freedom to conscience, profession, practice, and propagation of any religion comes under the right to freedom of religion. Next is cultural and educational rights. These rights protect the rights of religious, cultural, and linguistic minorities and their languages, scripts, and cultures. Last is the right to constitutional remedies. The citizens can approach the court when their fundamental rights are violated. When one feels that their right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, or cultural and educational rights are not being met, they have the liberty to approach the court. Next, we have the protection and the empowerment of women. The Constitution of India not only provides women equality, but also empowers women through the protections of their rights. Protection, according to the Equal Remuneration Act 1976, equal wages should be paid for work of same and similar nature to men and women. Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. This act protects from domestic violence. A person who involves in such violence shall be punished under the law. For example, a woman wants to pursue her higher studies after her marriage, and she took admission in a college which is nearby from her house. Her husband was not so happy with her decision of pursuing higher studies. The incident led to problems in the family. Her husband and his mother started torturing her physically and mentally. Learning about this incident, her parents filed a complaint against her husband and his mother before the police. Her husband and his mother were arrested and punished under the law for domestic violence. Prohibition of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013 also comes under the prevention, prohibition, and redressal. Next, we have the right to education. The Right to Education Act 2009 states that every child whose age is between 6 to 14 years has the right to have free and compulsory education. And also, the Right to Education Act prohibits private tuitions by the teacher. The Right to Education Act also prohibits physical punishment and mental harassment of the students. Next, we have right to information. The Right to Information Act 2005 empowers the citizens to question the government and its works. How to file an RTI? RTI is the Right to Information. Write an application furnishing your full name, address, contact details, and information documents of what you are seeking for. All departments come under the RTI have PIOs. A PIO is a Public Information Officer to deal with the RTI applications. Address your application to the PIO of the concerned department and post your RTI application through a registered post or submit it by hand to the concerned department in person. There is no prescribed format for the application. The application can be written on a plain paper. You need to pay a fee of rupees 10 to file an RTI application, and citizens below the poverty line need not pay the fee. How can we pay this money? The payment can be done by an Indian Postal Order IPO, by a demand draft, or by cash. As per the RTI Act, the information should be provided within 30 days. If the information requested is related to the person's life or liberty, it must be provided within 48 hours. If this information is not received within the 30 days, we can appeal for the same to a higher authority. And if the higher authority also fails to provide such information, we can approach for a second appeal. And that authority fails to provide the same, then we can lodge a complaint to the Information Commission. The disclosure of information affecting the security, sovereignty, and integrity of a country is excluded from the RTI. Let's look at the essential requirements for filing an RTI application. The applicant must be an Indian citizen. The application must contain relevant information, what is sought by you. The evidence of payment of application fee, which is 10 rupees, should be enclosed. The address of the applicant should be provided in the application to receive a reply. A citizen's personal data cannot be used by anyone else without their consent. This is known as the right to privacy. Next, we have the consumer's rights. The Consumer Protection Act of 1986 is to protect the welfare and interest of the consumers. First is right to safety, to protect against the marketing of goods and services which are hazardous to life and property. BIS Hallmark is a hallmarking system for the gold and silver jewelry, and it certifies the purity of the metal. But there are other many markings such as ISI, AG mark, FPO, etc. to check the quality of the products which you are buying. The next is be informed. The right to be informed of the quality, quantity, potency, purity, expiry date, and price of the goods so as to protect the consumers from unfair trade practices. For example, let's say a family has gone to watch a movie. Now, the children asked for some chocolates. The father has purchased a few chocolates from the shop inside the theater. The retailer charged double than the maximum retail price, the MRP. The father tells the shopkeeper, "You've charged double the MRP for these chocolates. You can't do that." "Sorry, sir, since the shop is inside the theater, the price of the chocolates here is double than the marketplace." The father filed a complaint against the retailer in the consumer court, and the retailer was fined for unfair trade practices. This is because the retailer did not provide all required information to the man before the occurrence of the sale. Next is the right to choose. The consumer has a right to choose what he's going to buy and what he's not going to buy. No retailer can force you to buy the goods of his own choice. Next is the right to be heard. Consumers' interests are to be heard with due importance. Consumers can raise various issues through organizations. And the last is the right to seek redressal. Consumers can seek for a redressal against the unfair practices and exploitations by approaching the consumers' forums or consumers' courts. For example, a woman has paid a postpaid mobile connection. She receives a bill which is showing many hidden charges, which were not explained to her at the time of activation. The company activated ringtones and some other services without her permission. Shilpa moved to the district consumer forum against the mobile company. The court ordered the mobile company to issue a new bill excluding the hidden charges. Hence, the woman has the right to seek redressal against the bill. Right to consumer education is also another right that comes under the consumer rights. Consumer protection is only possible through successful awareness programs. For example, an awareness program has been launched by the Government of India to educate the people about their rights as consumers. This program is called Jago Grahak Gago. Did you know that the Consumer Protection Act of 1986 has been replaced with the Consumer Protection Act of 2019 in the era of digitalization to include e commerce, direct selling, teleshopping, and other multi level marketing? Next, we have cybercrimes. Cybercrimes fall under the Information Technology Act and the Indian Penal Code. The IT Act deals with the cybercrime and electronic commerce. Email spoofing is a form of cyber attack and tactic in which a hacker sends an email that seems to have originated from a trusted source. For example, a woman receives an email from an unknown source saying that her computer is malfunctioning because of a virus, that her computer is under a serious threat. This email creates a fear in her and she wants to protect her computer from the virus. She clicks the link provided in the email to delete the virus. This email opens a new window and asks to fill many details, including her email password. She fills the details without knowing that it's a spoofed email message. And the next one of cybercrime is hacking. Everyone knows what hacking is. Access the other people's social media account or such more is cybercrime. For example, a woman visits a cyber cafe to apply for a central government scholarship. After uploading the application, she accesses her Facebook account. While she was using her Facebook account, the internet gets disconnected. She left the cyber cafe without logging out of her Facebook account. After a few minutes, she receives an email that her Facebook password has been changed. She is now unable to open her Facebook account. She dials the cyber police and reports the incident. The inspector investigates the culprit matter and arrests the culprit. Some punishable offenses under the cybercrime are copyright violation, cyber terrorism, cyberbullying or stalking, creating malware, fraud, identity theft, scam, spamming, or wiretapping. The copyright violation is when use of another person's copyrighted material is done, without permission. Cyberterrorism is using a computer technology and the internet to create fear and harm for political and ideological gain. Cyberbullying or stalking is harassing or stalking others online. Creating malware is to disrupt a computer server, leak private information, gain unauthorized access to information, etc. Fraud is manipulating data, for example, changing banking records to steal money. Identity theft is pretending to be someone you're not. Scam, tricking people into believing something that is not true. Spamming is sending a large amount of unsolicited emails. Wiretapping is connecting a device to a phone line to listen to conversations. Today's last topic is intellectual property rights. The intellectual property rights mean obtaining property rights through patents, copyrights, and trademarks. Patents grant its owners the legal right to exclude others from making, using, or selling the invention. Any person who intentionally violates copyrights or on any work becomes a criminal offense under the Copyright Act. Copyright protects ideas such as written works, music, art, etc. The symbol C here is the symbol used for copyrights. Trademarks protect symbols, colors, phrases, sounds, designs, etc. The symbol TR is used for an unregistered trademark and R for a registered trademark. Trade secrets are intellectual properties that include formulas, practices, processes, designs, patterns, instruments, etc. For example, Google's search algorithm, Coca-Cola's recipe, etc. Geographical indications are used on products with particular geographical origins and qualities. It is a sign used on products that have particular geographical origin and qualities or reputation due to that of the origin. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you and have a good day.